My name is Alexander Maschikov, and in this video I will show you how to implement leaderboards and achievements using the Google Play Services plugin for Unity in 2019. In the previous video, we've set up the actual plugin in Unity and on the Google Play console, and in this video I'll show you how to implement all of the scripts and hook it all up together so that everything's working. So if you haven't watched the previous video, please do so right now because you will not be able to understand anything that I'm talking about. And if you have any questions or if you're stuck, please join my Discord down using the link in the description and ask questions there. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go back to our Google Play console, click on Game Services, and go to our GPG demo that I've created previously. Now, before we've had a leaderboard, we're just going to leave that as is. We're going to use that leaderboard that we've had. We're going to go and we're going to add another achievement instead, Now we're going to call this one an incremental. We're going to make two. One of them is going to be an incremental achievement and another one is just going to be an unlockable. So the difference between an incremental and an unlockable achievement is that an incremental achievement is something that you can work your way towards and you can show the progress. So for example, killing 20,000 zombies. If you kill one zombie, you're part of the way there. If you kill 2,000 zombies, you're at 1/10 of the way there and whatnot. So that's sort of an incremental achievement, something that you can count up to. So we're going to check incremental achievements for this one. The incremental, we're just going to check that, and we're going to put a value something low like 10 so that we can easily unlock it. And we're going to add another achievement called a regular. So the regular achievement is going to be a non-incremental, and we're just going to save it. A regular achievement is going to be something like killing a boss, for example, where it's really difficult to tell whether you work your way up to killing the boss and you don't want to annoy the player with saying like, oh, good job, you got the boss down to 10% of his health every single time you hit the boss. So yeah, this is going to be a regular achievement versus an incremental one. We're going to save these and we're going to get resources. Once again, we've done this before. I'm going to copy. And we're going to go into Unity and go into Window, Google Play Games, Setup, Android Setup. We're just going to paste these in. I'm going to click Setup. It's going to say Google Play Games configured successfully. And if you have this Android dependencies resolution, if it's working out, then leave it alone. But if it's stuck, you can just close that thing up. So now that we have everything plugged in, we're going to create a couple of scripts. Okay, so the first script that we're going to create is going to be more of a just a utility script we can use for keeping track of the score. So we can submit the score and use that for the purpose of achievement. Let's make a score class. And we're going to just use a, I'm gonna have a public static int score. I'm going to set that to 0 by default. I'm going to do a public. I'm going to be using Text Mesh Pro for this. If you're not using Text Mesh Pro, you have to be using it because it's basically better in every way, shape, and form than the default Unity text setup. So go and import that into your project. And the other thing we're going to be using is Text Mesh Pro UGUI and just score text. So we're just going to keep track of the score text so we can see what the score actually is and what we're submitting. Now the way that we're going to do this is that we're going to have a single score being counted the entire time, and we're going to have a score to update. So essentially, the score to update is going to be the difference between the score that we've had and the score that we have now when we send the score to the Google Play Services console, to their servers, so that we kind of know the difference. Send that difference to them, they can update the score, and then we reset the difference, but we keep continuing our score on the local machine. So we're going to add score in the increment score function, and score text, we're just going to update that score text to string. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to do player prefs.setInt score to update. And we're going to say that to player prefs.getInt. So this is where we're actually getting the difference between the scores. So what we're essentially doing is saying, okay, so get the score, get the difference of the score that we've had add 1 to that and set it. So you're just incrementing that score that we're saving in the player prefs. This is simply for the purposes of sending updates to the server. Once we send the update, we're just going to wipe this score to update, but our score is going to stay the same. So this is a little utility script. We have that ready. Let's just, I don't know, plug that into something. Just have that that on a score. You keep it as score manager if you want, whatever you can call it whatever you want. For now, don't bother about plugging anything in. We'll figure that out later. Right now, what's important is we're going to create a few more scripts. We're going to create a GPGS achievements. And in the achievements script, once it opens, that's not the one, achievements. Okay, so in the achievement script, we're only going to be using 2 things here. We're going to be using the Unity engine, and we need to use Google Play Games. Now, the first thing we want to do is we're going to have 3 functions in here. We're going to have a open achievements panel to open the actual achievements panel when you want to see what achievements you have and so on. Or you can do, well, the other methods are going to be update incremental achievement and unlock the regular achievement. So updating the incremental achievement will send that difference we talked about in the scores. This difference is going to send it over to the servers so that we can update it and it can trigger the achievement. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go public void open achievement panel. Okay, and here we're going to be using the social class built into Unity, show achievements UI. So social show achievements UI. This will actually display an overlay over your app. You don't have to implement anything. It will simply just open up an overlay as long as you're logged in. The other one we're going to be doing is update incremental. Here we're going to be going play games platform dot instance. Now we've initialized this instance using the authenticator. So right here, the platform, we're going to go play game platform dot instance. This is what it's going to return. So we're going to go dot instance dot increment achievement. And here's a really interesting thing. Do you remember when we've set up the Google Play Games setup, Android setup? Now that actually saves our achievements, the strings for the achievements that we have, directly into a separate class called GPGS IDs. You can change this if you want. But all that class does, it's in right here. It's in the assets folder or wherever you set it up. All it does is just set those constant strings so that you don't have to, you could just reference that class instead of having to type out the string every time. And if something changes, it will be updated. So it's called GPGS IDs right here, dot achievement incremental, okay? And we're gonna increase that by 1. And here's where we can do a callback. And the callback will take a Boolean success, and it will, it will return true or false whether the update has succeeded or did not. Now we're not going to bother with this right now. I'm gonna show you this a bit later. We're just gonna put null, so we don't want to call back when the update increments. The other one we're gonna do is unlock regular. So this one is going to use the social platform. I know it's a little bit weird how this one uses the Play Games platform instance to increment the achievement, whereas this one uses report progress. But that's just the way it is, so follow the steps and you should be good. So GPGS IDs dot achievement regular. And we're going to do 100F with no callback. So what does this 100F do? The 100F is basically saying unlock this achievement. Just give it full progress. We're reporting 100% of the progress of this achievement to Google Play. Now what you can also do is if you have a regular achievement, you can make this a hidden achievement. What this will do is essentially when you open up the achievements panel, it won't show up there. So use this when you have, say, spoilers, when you have you know, some sort of twist in the end of your game where the bad guy turns out to be you all along. you don't want to have an achievement saying become the bad guy, or you were the bad guy all along achievement. Now that will kind of ruin the game if people look over and they see that achievement and they're like, oh, that's, that sucks. So keep those hidden. If you want to unlock the achievement, you have to use 100F here. But if you just want to reveal it to the player so that they're aware that that achievement exists, whether they achieved it or not, you have to put 0F. So this will basically say update, report the progress, but don't give any progress to that achievement. Just show it to the player. Otherwise, it will remain hidden and they won't be able to see it. Now, we're done with this class. So we're going to go and create a new class. So we're going to have 3 different classes. Let's go ahead and create a new class called GPGS. And this one's going to be called Leaderboards. And now the leaderboard script, let's go ahead and open that up once Unity loads. Okay, this script is going to be using just Unity Engine. That's it. For this one, we're going to create a function called open leaderboards. Oops, leaderboard. I guess leaderboard. And we're going to call social.show leaderboard UI. In the previous one, we did show achievements UI. This one is going to be show leaderboard UI. And what this is going to do is going to show an overlay like the achievements overlay, which you don't have to implement. It will just show you the leaderboards for all the players who have reported scores worldwide. So then you do public void update leaderboard score. Now in this one, we're going to be using the player prefs score to update to kind of update the leaderboard saying, hey, we've made this much progress, so go ahead and put that progress on the leaderboard so that we can stay up to date. So essentially, I'm not just competing with myself, I'm sending the scores that I've had over to the servers, and the servers say, okay, well, great, thank you. We're going to put that in there and show it to other players when they open up the leaderboard UI. So now in here, we're going to make sure that first thing that we want to do is just make sure that the score is not 0, right? Like we don't want to just update the score if it's 0, if nothing changed. That will just be a useless call over to the server. So don't send too many calls. Do it as little as possible. So do it on scene switches. Do it on, if someone presses the save button or update button, or do it occasionally once every 5 minutes, like an autosave or cloud save, but do not spam. Do not spam. That would basically, it can reject your updates, and sometimes if you just keep spamming with too many, it'll update the first time and then we'll just ignore you for a while. So don't do that. Try to avoid that. Let's do getInt. We're going to do score to update. This is the same one we're using in the other script. Default it to 0. If it's 0, if we haven't updated the score, just return. Just get out of here. We don't need to update anything. However, if not, then we're going to do social.report score. Oops, report score, not report progress. The score we're going to use is playerprefs.getInt score to update with a default value of 0. I guess 1, because we don't want to, this would be 0 anyway. So let's just do 1, because otherwise it would be useless. And the board, this is the name of the leaderboard that we want to update the score to. And the name of the leaderboard is going to be, the leaderboard that we've created on the Google Play console. That's going to be in GPGS IDs dot leaderboard high score. And for the callback, this is going to be, this is where we're actually going to write a callback, and the callback is going to reset the difference of the progress that we get from player prefs. So what we're going to do is we're going to take in a Boolean called success. I'm going to do a little bit built-in Lambda function. Okay. And here, if it was successful, then player prefs dot setInt score to update will be 0. So essentially what we're saying is if I report my score, the difference of my score over to the servers, and it succeeds and it updates the score, which will send it back in a callback, it'll say, okay, well, it's successful, so reset your current difference in score to 0. Just say, like, you haven't changed anything so that you can't spam this button when you haven't changed your score. So let's save it like this. And we're done with the scripts. That's it. We are done with the scripts. What we're going to have to do now is create a few more classes, a few more objects over here. So we're going to create 2 more game objects. One we're going to call GPGS achievements. And of course, GPGS leaderboards. So for the achievements, we're going to drag the achievement script on here, and for the leaderboards, we're going to drag the leaderboard script. You can do this all in one class. I just prefer to have it separate so that, you know, if you don't want the authenticator available in all places, I mean, if it's a singleton or whatever, that's fine, but you don't really need it there, so you could, you know, put it separately. If you want, you could just put all of those game objects into one parent called GPGS or whatever. But I just prefer having this way, where all scripts are separate. So very good thing that I created is the UI. So I just made a little UI canvas which has simple buttons, right? Like, you could do this on your own time. I don't want to waste time, so I'm not going to do that. I already made that. So we have a leaderboards button that will open up the leaderboards panel, the overlay. We have the achievements button, which will open up the achievements overlay. We have the score in the center, which will just show up our score. We have the increment score button, which will just basically increase the score. And an unlock button, which will unlock the achievement, the unlockable achievement, the regular one. And we have a submit scores. This will submit the scores to the leaderboard. Now, none of this stuff is plugged in yet because we just created this script. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's start with leaderboards. So the first thing we want to do is click that here, and GPGS leaderboards, we're just going to do open leaderboard. Same thing with achievements, except with GPGS achievements. Open achievements panel. Now for the increment, we're going to do a few things. We're going to, first of all, score. We're going to do increment score. Okay, and let me just double check one thing here. Yeah, see, it doesn't really update anything. Now, what we kind of want to do is we want to increment the score every time you update the score. You want to increment that score for the achievement side, saying like, report 1 more score for that achievement, report 1 more score for that achievement. So you're kind of doing that over and over again. So we're going to plug in GPGS achievements, and in here, we're going to update incremental. Now remember, if I go here to update incremental, what does it do? Well, it just increases the score by 1. It just increments the achievement called achievement incremental by 1. So it just updates it once, saying every time you press a button, it sends saying this person basically got 1 more point. And this will automatically unlock the achievement once you reach a certain threshold. So do unlock. The unlock is going to be just the unlockable achievement. So we're going to do unlock regular. And submit scores. This one is going to take leaderboards. And here we're going to do what was the other thing that we update leaderboard score. So update leaderboard score is this function we just wrote, where we check if the score is 0, and then we social report score that score to Google Play services. Now I'm going to build this on my phone, and we're going to see how it works. Just a quick thing, remember to plug in the score text over here. Yeah, I kind of forgot and I built it, and it didn't work. So let me go build it again, and now it should work. Okay, so the application has started. I'm gonna show you right here. Open up. Okay, it's asking me to log in, so let me go do that. Just okay. Yep, just asking me to allow some stuff. And there we go. I logged in. That's great. Okay, so now when we tap the increment score, the score should increment. There we go. Once we reach 10, it should unlock the achievement. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom, there we go. There's the achievement. Incremental. Fantastic. So that just basically automatic. You don't have to do this. This is all an overlay. I didn't program any of the overlay, the pop-up or anything like that. So let's go check the achievements using the achievement button at the top. There you go. So that's also an overlay, and it shows that we've unlocked. Oh man, this is a nightmare to put this like that. Okay, so it shows that we've unlocked 2 achievements. Oh, sorry, we have 2 achievements, and we've unlocked 1, and it shows that the other one is locked right there. So let's go ahead and unlock that one for us. So just press the unlock button, and that should unlock the achievement for us. Whatever, right? So let's click on that, and that should bring it up to, there we go, 2 out of 2 achievements. So the achievements are working as intended. Now let's try to see the leaderboard. So I'm gonna tap the leaderboard, and we're gonna notice that there is a leaderboard rank for me because I pressed the button. So if I press submit scores, there we go. You could see that it is, oops, just tap it again, that it is right there. The entry is right there. And now let's try to increment this, say to 36 or something. I'm gonna click submit scores, click leaderboards. Now, we see that it's 26. The score has updated, and this will be able to be done. So the problem is that if you keep incrementing score and then submitting it, and then increment it a little bit, submit it, increment, submit it, this kind of counts as spam. So the scores might just not update. They just might ignore that and say, you know what, this guy's been spamming so many scores every 3 seconds, so we're not going to count that. So be careful with that. Make sure that when you implement these scores, you are sending them very, very occasionally. So for example, if you have some sort of puzzle or whatever you're solving, and then at the end you get this huge reward of like 2,000 tokens, and the tokens is what the leaderboard counts, submit it once. Once the player solves the puzzle, if the puzzle is not like every 2 seconds or something like that, solve it at the end. When you know how much player's gonna get, when you know the reward, send that big chunky reward over to the services. Don't do it very often because sometimes it just won't update. So that's been achievements and leaderboards in Unity using the Google Play Services plugin. I thank you for watching. Please go to the description, join my Discord channel if you have any questions or if you're stuck, and I'll see you